Okay, and it's me again, Debbie Hilly, and because we are on this kick about grooming shop safety, I wanted to do a table safety demo, and I didn't have a large dog to do it with because I don't do very many. Well, this is Zeke. Zeke, look at the camera. Giant Schnauzer puppy. He's only about 7 or 8 months old, and he's a pain in my butt, but I adore him. I took him on as a client, even though he's over my size limit, because he is a giant Schnauzer. But there are certain things that you should do when you have a larger dog like this. First of all, Brian's in the other room, right on the other side of this wall. He would be able to hear me if we had a problem, and he's already come back to help me do his nails because that's really all he's here for today is his nails. But I have a double loop system, and if you'll notice, I have a wide strap here. I am not sure, but I think that this is a Romani strap. Don't quote me on that, but I think this came from MDC Romani. And I've got it hooked here to my second arm because I like to do large dogs with 2 arms. I have my groomer's helper loop here, which will adjust to my groomer's helper if I thought I needed it. On him, I don't think I do right now. But if I even had to take 3 steps across the room, I would hook him to it. That is because it would prevent him from lunging at all. He would not be able to move. He would not be able to tip this table over. The other thing, if you'll notice where my shoulder is in comparison to his head, I don't like them this high. I prefer to work on them lower whenever possible. Yeah, you may have to move them up some to work on parts of their body, but in general, I like to keep the dog low to the ground. Number one, it keeps it away from my face. Number two, it means they really can't tip the table over. In fact, the lower they are, the more stable the table. Right now, I don't think he could knock this table over if he tried because I couldn't move it right now. He'd really have to lunge hard to do that. And we're not in a position where that's gonna happen. Would you calm down? There's nothing wrong with you. We're already done with your nails. We're already done with your nails. Some of you may think I've actually fired this dog and I talked about it, but I never actually did it after he dislocated my thumb. But not his fault. He's still a puppy, so we're working on it. But at any rate, never should have the dog high enough that it can easily get to your face. And if you have any questions about the dog, I don't think this dog would bite me, but he does tend to thrash around some. So when I go to do anything like dematting or anything like that, he would be hooked to the groomer's helper to prevent that from happening. And again, low is better because low is stable. And a stable table is always a good idea. I would not work on big dogs if I did not have an electric table with a really heavy base. All of my tables are Ultralift, which I guess is now Mason. But I love every one of them. Would never think of going to a different brand. Bending over so you can see me because otherwise you can't see me and the dog at the same time. But even when working on a larger dog, I would rather bend myself over a little bit than bring him up too high if there's a risk of jumping. This dog actually has fairly good table manners, so I'm not really worried about him jumping, but for stability's sake, his shoulder should never be higher than your shoulder. If you're going any higher than that, it should be for a very short period of time. I also think large dogs benefit from having a wall right behind them. There's a wall right here, literally hand's width from his butt to the wall, because it only gives them one way to go. They can only come towards you. And if he started to jump, of course, I'm going to put my hands out and push. And I spooked him. I didn't mean to do that. He's overdue for grooming. As you can tell, he's got that much hair. But anyway, those are my table tips for working with a larger dog. You want to keep them stable. You want to use a double loop or a double arm, or that's preferred, double arm. If you don't have but one arm and you need to double loop, again, same thing as with a smaller dog. You would put this up here on the swivel. Now this is not designed to hold a dog this large, which is one reason I don't have it there, but you could do it if you had to. For larger dogs, I do prefer a wide strap so that if they put any pressure down, it disperses it. This would be the most narrow I would go, and it's about 1 inch. I wouldn't go any lower than that on a narrow with a loop. It just would not be safe. And I also tend to like to let them sit down if they're behaving and they need to sit down while I do stuff on their head. They can sit down. They don't have to stand up the whole time. But for when I need them to stand, for safety's sake, there's a rear loop on. It's all about safety this month. And that's how we get it done. We're not putting your face in mine. I know you like to give kisses, but we're not doing that. Zeke. Zeke. No, sir. See? And I'm far enough away that he can't get me. At any rate, that's how you keep your tables from tipping over. Double loop, double arm, low to the ground, heavy base table. And if I lower this down, he can jump right off and go back to his kennel. Have a great day, y'all.